Ever notice how some moments just kind of get seared into our collective memory? They become these legendary turning points, almost infamous, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Like
But,
certain events just capture everyone's attention.
exactly. And in the world of sports, there's one that always comes to mind. I'm talking, of course, about the Malice at the Palace.
Oh yeah, how could you forget?
It's 2004. The Indiana Pacers versus the Detroit Pistons, players battling it out, fans getting involved. It was absolute mayhem.
Definitely one for the history books.
Yeah.
The Associated Press even called it the most infamous brawl in NBA history.
No kidding. And that's precisely what we're diving into today. What
Sure.
made it so significant? What really went down?
We'll unpack all of that.
So, to really grasp how this brawl shook the NBA, you've got to set the scene. We're in Auburn Hills, Michigan, November 19th, 2004, the Palace of Auburn Hills, the Pistons' home court.
Packed house, I bet.
Oh, absolutely. And the energy was electric. It was the Indiana Pacers going head-to-head with the defending NBA champions, the Detroit Pistons.
So already a recipe for some serious competition.
Right. And remember, these two teams had history.
Oh yeah, some bad blood brewing.
You could say that. Earlier that year, the Pistons had knocked the Pacers out of the Eastern Conference Finals.
That's a tough loss. The series that determines who represents the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals.
Exactly. So, yeah, tensions were running high.
Makes sense. A rematch with that kind of background. It's bound to be intense.
Now, fast forward to the game's final minute. The Pacers are up big, 97-82. With just 46 seconds left on the clock, the outcome seemed pretty much settled.
Right, a comfortable lead. So, what happened? Where did things go off the rails?
Well, with the game winding down, Pacers player Ron Artest fouls Pistons player Ben Wallace pretty hard as Wallace goes for a layup.
Ah, so that's where it starts. A foul late in the game with a big lead.
Mhm.
I could see how that might rub some people the wrong way.
You got it. And Wallace, he was not happy.
Yeah, I bet not. What did he do?
He shoves Artest hard right in the face, two hands.
Well, okay, so things are escalating quickly.
And of course, players from both sides rush in, trying to separate them, prevent a full-blown fight on the court.
Yeah, trying to keep it contained. Typical basketball stuff.
But here's where it takes a turn. Instead of, getting involved in the scuffle, Artest does something totally unexpected. He lies down on the scorer's table.
On the scorer's table. What was he thinking?
Later, he said he was trying to calm down to de-escalate. Said it was a technique he'd developed.
Huh, interesting. Trying to find some inner peace amidst the chaos.
Right, but imagine being a Pistons fan in that moment.
Yeah.
Your team's losing, a player fouls one of your stars, then just chills on the scorer's table.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. Not exactly the best look. Probably came off as super disrespectful.
Exactly, and that's where things really explode. A fan named John Green throws a drink at Artest. Some say it was Diet Coke, others beer hitting him right in the chest, maybe his face.
Wow, a fan throwing a drink. That's when you know things have gone way too far.
Absolutely, and in that moment, the line between spectator and athlete is completely obliterated. Artest jumps off the table and charges straight into the stands.
Adrenaline pumping, probably seeing red. He's going after the guy who threw the drink.
Right, but in all the commotion, he makes a mistake. Attacks the wrong fan, a guy named Mike Ryan, completely innocent.
Oh man, that's awful. Wrong place, wrong time for that guy.
And it doesn't stop there. Artest's teammates, Steven Jackson and Jermaine O'Neal, follow him into the stands.
Oh no, it's a full-on brawl now.
Complete chaos erupts. Jackson reportedly punches a fan who threw another drink. O'Neal punches a fan who came onto the court. Players and fans throwing punches. Objects flying from the stands.
Sounds like absolute pandemonium.
It was. The game was immediately stopped, of course, with 45.9 seconds still on the clock. Pacers declared the winners almost an afterthought.
Yeah, amidst all that, who cares about the score anymore?
The real story was the total breakdown of order. The boundary between players and fans violently shattered. Something you just never see in professional sports.
No, definitely not to that degree. It raises all sorts of questions about security, about fan behavior, about the responsibility of the players.
And the aftermath. The media went absolutely nuts. The most infamous brawl in NBA history, they called it, and for weeks, it dominated headlines.
I bet. It was probably all anyone was talking about.
Coaches' reactions were telling, too. Pacers coach Rick Carlisle said he felt like he was fighting for my life out there.
Wow, that's intense. Really paints a picture of how scary and out of control the situation was.
Pistons coach Larry Brown called it the ugliest thing I've seen as a coach or player, and this is a guy who's seen a lot in his long career.
Definitely not just a minor scuffle.
Yeah.
This was something that shook everyone to the core.
And then there was Commissioner David Stern. He was deeply concerned about potential racial bias in the media coverage.
Yeah, that adds another layer to the whole situation.
It did. And this isn't just a forgotten footnote in sports history. The Malice at the Palace still sparks discussion and analysis. The 2021 Netflix documentary Untold, Malice at the Palace, really brought it back into focus.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. They had interviews with the players, even the fan who threw the drink.
Right. It gave us all those different perspectives. So let's name names. On the Pacers side, you had Ron Artest, Steven Jackson, Jermaine O'Neal, and even Reggie Miller, though he was injured and not playing that night.
Right, but still there and caught up in the middle of it all.
For the Pistons, there was Ben Wallace, right at the heart of the initial altercation. Then you have the fans who crossed the line. John Green, the drink thrower, and Mike Ryan, the fan, wrongly attacked.
But there were others suspended, too. Pacers players Anthony Johnson and Jamal Tinsley, Pistons players Chauncey Billups, Richard Hamilton, Rasheed Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, Derek Coleman, and Eldon Campbell.
Wow, quite a list. And then you've got Rick Mahorn, a former NBA player trying to calm things down, and other fans who got involved, throwing things, confronting players on the court. A whole mess of people.
Yeah, it really spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
A lot of people got caught up in the moment.
And the NBA didn't mess around. Ron Artest got hit with an 86-game suspension, the longest ever for an on-court incident.
Wow. Talk about setting an example.
Jackson got 30 games, O'Neal 15 after appeal, Wallace 6, Johnson 5, and even Miller and some Pistons players got 1 game each. Over $11 million in lost salaries.
The financial impact alone is staggering, but it really shows how seriously the NBA took this.
It wasn't just the NBA either. 5 players and 5 fans faced assault charges. Players got probation, community service, anger management. The fans involved, like John Green, got lifetime bans from Pistons games.
That's a pretty severe consequence. Shows there are real-world repercussions for that kind of behavior.
And this brawl changed things. We saw increased security at all NBA arenas, tighter restrictions on alcohol sales during games.
Makes sense, trying to prevent something like this from happening again.
Right, and they really started emphasizing fan behavior expectations. Clearer guidelines, quicker ejections for unruly fans.
So a real shift in the atmosphere at games.
And the dynamic between players and fans, it definitely felt different after the Malice at the Palace. Like there was more distance, more caution.
Understandably so. Players probably felt less comfortable interacting with fans.
And the NBA was pushing hard to improve the player's image. That's when we saw the mandatory dress code for players in 2005.
Oh yeah, the business casual look. Definitely a move towards a more professional image.
But the Malice at the Palace is complex, right? You
Yeah.
have the Pacers players, many feeling like they were under attack, acting in self-defense.
Yeah, a chaotic and dangerous situation for sure. You can't just dismiss that.
And Steven Jackson even said it felt good to hit a fan in response to alleged racial slurs. Really highlights the emotions involved.
Then there's the fan perspective. Some were appalled by the fans' actions. Others maybe felt the players overreacted. The NBA trying to maintain order, protect their image, and keep everyone safe. And the media shaping public perception, focusing on the violence.
A lot of different angles, different interpretations, depending on who you ask. No easy answers.
Definitely not. Ultimately, the Malice at the Palace reminds us how volatile things can get when you mix high-stakes sports, intense emotions, and passionate fans. It had immediate and long-lasting consequences, changing how the NBA operates.
Absolutely. Those record-breaking suspensions, the legal battles, changes in security and fan interaction, it left a lasting legacy.
Yeah, teaching some hard lessons about creating a safe and respectful environment for players, coaches, staff, and fans alike.
It made the NBA take a long, hard look in the mirror and make changes to prevent anything like it from happening again. A cautionary tale, for sure.
One that's still relevant today.
So thinking about this single event and its huge impact, it makes you wonder, what other moments in sports history might reveal similar dynamics between athletes, fans, and the leagues? Maybe things we haven't fully grasped yet.
Lots to think about, for sure. There were always layers beneath the surface.
And that's what makes these deep dives so fascinating, unpacking these moments, trying to understand them better. Thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely, anytime. It was great discussing this.